In the faint morning light, as a thin layer of mist still covered the grass, Master Thomas sat quietly on the monastery porch, his eyes following the gentle flow of the river. The chirping of birds among the trees and the rustling of the wind created a natural symphony, calming the soul. A group of students from various places gathered at the monastery. They were individuals burdened by the busyness of life, seeking peace of mind. Each carried their own story, their own worries, and anxieties they had no one to share with. They came to the Master, yearning for guidance to rediscover joy in life amidst the chaos and pressures of the world. As the group sat closely together, their eyes filled with expectation directed at Master Thomas, he smiled gently, like a compassionate father always ready to listen and understand. He didn't rush to speak but quietly observed each person, as if reading the hidden thoughts within their hearts. After a moment of silence, the Master began with a simple yet profound question: have you ever truly stopped to feel each breath of your own? This seemingly straightforward question rang like a bell in the hearts of everyone, stirring deep reflections. Each of them had hurried through life, racing against time to achieve goals, rarely pausing to feel their own existence. Master Thomas continued, his words gentle yet imbued with the wisdom of Buddhist teachings. Life, my dear students, is not about grand achievements or milestones. It is not found in what we can measure or boast about, but in the small moments, the breaths we often overlook in daily life. Every breath, every heartbeat, every glance is a precious gift that we cannot hold on to or turn back. These words, like a soothing stream, flowed into their souls, easing worries and burdens. The Master went on, when you pause and focus on your breath, you will realize that each breath is a gift of life. You don't need to go far to find happiness, because happiness is always here, within each breath. One student hesitantly asked, Master, how can we stop when life out there is always so hectic, so full of worries and pressures? Master Thomas smiled, his eyes filled with understanding. Life out there will never stop rushing, but you can choose to pause. Pausing doesn't mean giving up everything but giving yourself a moment to listen to your heart, to recognize what truly matters. The Master shared a story of an ancient monk who once lived amidst the hustle and bustle of the city yet maintained a serene soul. Each morning, this monk would spend a few minutes sitting quietly on the porch, simply listening to the birds and feeling his breath. It was these small moments that helped him find inner peace, despite the chaos of life. We cannot change the flow of life, but we can learn to adjust our minds to harmonize with it. When you truly live in each moment, life ceases to be a burden and becomes a priceless gift. Master Thomas's teachings were not just dry philosophies but practical lessons easily applied to daily life. The students left the session with lighter hearts, their souls seemingly cleansed. They realized that finding joy in life was not something distant or complex, but simply learning to appreciate the small, simple things around them. Their journey to rediscovering the joy of life began with such small lessons, starting from pausing and feeling each breath, each moment passing by. Thus, Master Thomas's story was not just about Buddhist philosophy but a gentle yet profound reminder of how to live fully in the present, in every moment of life. In the serene grounds of an ancient monastery, where a quiet stream wound its way through lush green hills, Master Thomas led his students to a small hidden garden behind the temple. The garden was not ostentatious or extravagant, merely a cluster of small daisies blooming under the morning sun, exuding a gentle fragrance in the tranquil air. Master Thomas slowly sat down beside a freshly blossomed daisy, his hands gently cradling its delicate petals, as if afraid to mar its purity. His gaze was full of contemplation, conveying a profound message without uttering a word. After a moment of silence, he began a story. Once upon a time, there was a diligent gardener. Every morning, he would tend to his small daisy garden. He loved his work, not because he expected a bountiful harvest, but simply because he cherished each moment of being in harmony with nature, watching the daisies bloom under the sun. The master continued, the daisies in the garden bloomed for only one day. When night fell, they withered, returning their beauty to Mother Earth. The gardener understood this well, yet he did not grieve or feel regret. He knew that each flower had its own unique life, a presence that could not be repeated. Turning to his students, Master Thomas's eyes were filled with understanding. My dear students, our lives are like those daisies. Every moment is a unique gift. We cannot go back to the past, nor can we predict the future, but we can fully live in the present, treasuring each moment as it unfolds. He introduced the concept of Ichigo Ichi, a Japanese philosophy that emphasizes the uniqueness and irreplaceability of every encounter and moment. He stressed that life is not about the milestones we strive to achieve but about being fully present in each moment. Every encounter, every moment holds profound meaning if we pause and appreciate it, he said. When you meet someone, consider it a once-in-a-lifetime meeting. Don't let thoughts of the past or worries about the future diminish the value of the present. Focus on that encounter, and you'll realize that each person, each moment, offers valuable lessons. A young student, face filled with contemplation, asked, Master, how can we cherish each moment when life is so busy and stressful? Master Thomas gently replied, life is full of challenges and pressures, but what matters is how we face them. If you pause, take a deep breath, and listen to yourself, you'll find peace in each moment, no matter how hectic life may be. He shared another story about an old Zen master who once said, every meal, every cup of tea, every moment is a small festival of life. This Zen master didn't let life pass by meaninglessly. Every moment was an event to be cherished and enjoyed. Don't wait for special occasions to feel happy, the master emphasized. Make every day special by appreciating the small things around you. A smile, a glance, a sincere word can become memorable moments if you value them. Master Thomas paused, his gaze distant as if listening to nature's whispers. The student sat silently, absorbing his words like morning dew quietly nourishing a parched field. He concluded, remember, you cannot control everything in life, but you can choose how to respond to it. Live fully in each moment, for these are the pieces that make up the mosaic of your life. His teachings were not merely lofty philosophies but practical lessons encouraging people to slow down, appreciate, and savor each moment. The students left the session with light hearts, feeling as if they had been infused with new energy to face life peacefully and serenely. One early morning, as dew lingered on the leaves and birds chirped from the ancient trees, Master Thomas invited his students to gather around a simple yet elegant tea set. The peaceful scene, the fresh air, and the stillness of the morning created an atmosphere where hearts could settle into quiet contemplation. In that serene space, the master slowly poured tea into each cup, the gentle fragrance wafting through the air, carrying the warmth of his teacherly affection. Once everyone was settled, he began to speak on a familiar yet profoundly meaningful topic, the impermanence of life. Master Thomas gently started, my dear students, our lives are like water flowing through our hands. No matter how hard you try, the water will slip away, you cannot hold onto it forever. Yet, it is this very fleeting nature that brings out life's true beauty. His words, like rain seeping into parched soil, stirred deep reflections within each listener. He continued, impermanence is not something to lament, but rather an opportunity to learn to appreciate every moment. Imagine if everything were unchanging, would we still recognize the preciousness of the present moments? Master Thomas shared a story from the Buddhist scriptures about a powerful king who was constantly fearful of loss. He desired to hold on to his youth, power, and wealth, but eventually realized that everything is subject to the passage of time. The master emphasized that impermanence gives life its meaning, encouraging people to live fully and appreciate the small things. He reminded his students, when you enjoy a cup of tea, slow down, savor the taste of each sip as it spreads through your mouth. Don't rush to finish it, but relish each tiny moment. It is in these simple moments that you will discover the beauty of life, even if it's fleeting. One student spoke up, "Master, I often feel anxious about impermanence because it makes me worry about what I will lose." The master smiled and responded, "Such anxiety is natural, but remember, accepting impermanence will bring you peace. When you understand that nothing lasts forever, you will learn to let go of burdens and unnecessary worries." He guided the conversation toward mindfulness, saying, "Living mindfully is living with a clear awareness of impermanence. When you recognize that everything has a beginning and an end, you will no longer cling or attach to things that cannot be changed. You will learn to value each present moment, for it is the only thing that truly belongs to you." Master Thomas recounted a story of an old farmer in a small village. Every day, the farmer diligently worked his fields, unfazed by life's changes. One day, a great storm swept away all his crops. Instead of lamenting, he calmly accepted it and began replanting. When asked how he could remain so composed, he simply smiled and said, "Life is like that, everything changes, nothing is permanent. What matters is how we respond to those changes." Concluding his teaching, Master Thomas said, "Dear students, life is a series of impermanent moments. Instead of fearing and resisting it, learn to accept and live harmoniously with it. Remember, impermanence is the most valuable lesson, helping us grow and become stronger. Let each day, each moment, be part of this journey, and you will find peace within yourselves." His words left the group in quiet reflection, each student immersed in their thoughts. They felt comforted and deeply encouraged by their teacher, as if guided by a light along their life's journey. Though the teacups remained warm, their hearts were now filled with precious lessons about impermanence and how to live peacefully amid life's ever-changing currents. One fresh morning, as the sun rose above the horizon, casting its golden rays over the lush green rice fields, Master Thomas sat quietly on the porch of the temple, observing the people passing by. His students gathered around him, each eager to hear his teachings. In the stillness of that moment, the master began to tell a story about a farmer in the village. The farmer worked diligently in the fields each day, regardless of the weather or the possibility of crop failure. He always woke early, beginning his work with bright hope, as though each new day brought a fresh start full of promise. This man lives fully in the present, not bound by the past, nor letting the future overshadow the now, Master Thomas explained. He continued his analysis, "The farmer's life is a testament to living mindfully. He is not haunted by the failures of the past, nor does he excessively worry about what the future holds. He focuses solely on what he can do in the present, and that is the only true way to live fully." One student asked, "Master, how can we live fully in the present when our minds are always pulled toward the past or future?" The master smiled and replied, "That is a challenge we all face. But remember, the key lies in learning to recognize and let go. When you realize that the past is gone and the future has not yet come, you will begin to focus on the present moment. This is the only time when life truly exists." Master Thomas emphasized that living fully in the present does not mean forgetting the past or ignoring the future. Instead, it is about learning from past experiences, accepting the uncertainty of the future, and appreciating what is happening around us. The past is a valuable lesson, the future is an opportunity to fulfill our dreams, but only the present is truly ours, he said. Master Thomas continued with another example, this time about a potter. This potter, whenever he created a vase, gave his full attention and devotion to each detail. He did not think about the pieces he had made before, nor did he concern himself with whether the vase would sell. He focused only on creating the best possible work in the present moment. That is the art of living fully, the master emphasized. The students listened thoughtfully. They realized that living fully in the present was not only a method for attaining inner peace but also a way to truly enjoy life. When you give your full attention to what you are doing, you will find joy and satisfaction in even the smallest things, the master added. Another student asked, Master, but if our present is full of difficulties and suffering, how can we live fully with it? The master pondered for a moment before responding, it is precisely in the most difficult times that living fully in the present becomes even more important. Difficulties are an inseparable part of life, and they help us grow. When you face pain, do not run from it or deny it. Accept it and feel it deeply, for only when you face pain directly can you overcome it. Master Thomas concluded with a heartfelt piece of advice, remember, each moment is a gift. Live fully in the present, whether it is joy or sorrow, success or failure. When you learn to cherish every moment, your life will become more meaningful and rich. Let the present be your source of strength and joy, and you will find peace within yourself. His words were like a gentle breeze, carrying the fragrance of tranquility and peace. The students sat in quiet reflection, each feeling the depth and sincerity in the master's teachings. They understood that the journey to find peace and happiness begins by living fully in each present moment. From that day forward, they resolved to apply the master's teachings to their lives, seeking serenity and happiness in every moment. On a gentle autumn morning, when golden leaves were falling and covering the temple grounds, Master Thomas and his students were busy cleaning the small corners of the temple. The morning sunlight filtered through the trees, creating a peaceful and serene atmosphere. While his students were diligently sweeping, the master slowly approached them, his eyes filled with kindness and profound wisdom. He began to speak, Today, let us discuss perfection and why we must let go of the desire for it. The master explained that in life, we are often pressured by the desire to achieve perfection in everything. Whether it be in work, studies, or relationships, people long for an ideal, flawless model. But this desire often leads to fatigue, stress, and disappointment. Do you notice, my students, that when we strive for perfection, we only end up hurting ourselves and those around us? The master gently asked. He then shared a story about a renowned potter in the village. This potter always tried to create the most perfect vases. But the more he tried, the more frustrated he became because he could never reach absolute perfection. One day, as he worked, a vase fell and cracked. The potter was deeply saddened, but instead of discarding the vase, he decided to keep it. Over time, he realized that the crack did not diminish the value of the vase. On the contrary, it made the vase unique and full of character. From that moment, he began to find beauty in his imperfect vases, with each crack telling its own story. It is the imperfection that makes the beauty truly authentic, the master concluded. One student, troubled, asked, Master, should we not then give up trying to perfect ourselves? The master smiled and replied, No, my students. Letting go of perfection does not mean we cease striving to be better. It means accepting that we do not need to be perfect to have value. Each of us has flaws, but it is these flaws that shape our identity and uniqueness. The master continued, in Buddhism, we learn that life is a journey, not a destination. Along this journey, we will encounter challenges, failures, and imperfections. But instead of seeing them as negatives, we must learn to accept and love them. That is how we grow and find true happiness. Once again, the master shared a story about Tibetan mandalas. The monks spend hours, even days, creating beautiful works of art with colored sand. But once the mandala is complete, they immediately destroy it. Do you know why they do this? The master asked. It is because they want to remind themselves and others that everything is impermanent, and perfection is not the final goal. What truly matters is the process of creation, not the final result. The master emphasized, we must learn to let go of perfection because it is imperfection that makes life beautiful and meaningful. We must cherish what we have, the small but genuine things. That is the source of peace and happiness. The students sat quietly, deeply reflecting on the master's teachings. They realized that letting go of perfection does not mean abandoning effort, but accepting themselves and life as they are, with all their imperfections and unique beauty. In the peaceful atmosphere of the temple, the master's words shone like a light, guiding their hearts to find peace and joy in each present moment. The master's teachings took place in the tranquil space of the temple, where the morning sunlight gently filtered through the leaves, creating a peaceful scene. The students sat gathered around the master, listening intently to his every word. He began with a profound question, "My students, have you ever felt your heart weighed down by things that could easily be let go of?" This question made everyone pause and reflect. In life, we often carry many worries, regrets, and desires. These things are like heavy stones that weigh down our souls, making us weary. Master Thomas gently continued, letting go is not about giving up, it is about creating space for growth and joy. When you let go of what is unnecessary, you will find true freedom. He shared an old story about a young monk who always carried a large bag full of things he thought he needed. Each time he went somewhere, the bag grew heavier, and he grew more fatigued. One day, he met a Zen master and complained about the weight of the bag. The Zen master simply smiled and asked, "Do you truly need all the things in that bag?" The monk suddenly realized that most of the items he carried were unnecessary. When he let go of them, his steps became lighter, and his heart became calmer. Master Thomas continued to explain, letting go is an art of living. It requires us to recognize what is truly important and necessary in life. Often, we cling to things that no longer serve us, simply out of fear of loss or change. But it is this attachment that causes us suffering. The master advised his students to begin practicing letting go in their daily lives. Start with the small things, such as letting go of anger, regret over past mistakes, or worry about the future. Focus on the present moment, enjoy each moment, and be grateful for the simple things life offers, he said. One student asked, "Master, does letting go mean we should stop trying?" The master smiled and explained, "No, my child. Letting go does not mean abandoning effort or responsibility. On the contrary, when you let go of what is unnecessary, you will have more energy and focus to do what truly matters. This is how to live a full and meaningful life." He then shared the story of a farmer who worked diligently in the fields every day. Even when the harvest was poor, he maintained his faith and optimism. He let go of unnecessary worries about the weather or pests, focusing only on what he could control and do well. Because of this, his life became lighter and filled with joy. At the conclusion of his teaching, the master reminded them, letting go is not about giving up, it is about creating space for growth and joy. Let go of what is unnecessary, and your hearts will become lighter. From there, you will find true freedom and happiness. After the lesson, the students left the temple with light hearts, each filled with deep contemplation. They all promised themselves to practice the Master's teachings, to let go of what was unnecessary, so they could live fully in the present, love more deeply, and embrace life with all it offers. Under the warm light of the morning sun, they walked with peaceful hearts, ready for a new journey filled with meaning and freedom.